They say New York never sleeps, but beneath the city that never sleeps lies something darker. A train line that doesn't exist on any map. A platform that isn't supposed to be there. And those who board it never come back. Tonight, you're about to hear the truth behind the silent subway. Hey everyone, I'm AJ and welcome to Beyond with Horror Stories. Let's start. It started like an ordinary evening. Daniel Brooks, a 27-year-old journalist for an independent online magazine, was returning home late from Manhattan. He wasn't afraid of late nights. The New York subway had always been his second home. He grew up here. He knew its chaos, its graffiti, its strange performers, and even stranger people. But on this night, things were off. He had been taking the A train, like always. But as it reached West 4th Street, the train suddenly slowed down in the middle of the tunnel. The lights flickered. For a moment, Daniel thought it was just another blackout common in the older tunnels. Then the announcement came. A garbled, distorted voice. Next stop, Old Station. Daniel frowned. Old Station. There was no stop by that name. He had memorized the line. He knew every stop. The other passengers looked around, confused. A middle-aged woman shook her head. I've been riding this line for 30 years. There's no Old Station. The train screeched into a halt. The doors opened with a reluctant hiss. And beyond them was a platform Daniel had never seen before. Dim yellow bulbs flickered above cracked tiles. A rusted sign on the wall read, City Hall Station, 1904. But the City Hall Station had been closed for decades. He had written about it once, in an article about abandoned subway stations. The place wasn't supposed to be open. It wasn't even on this line. Yet here it was. Some passengers refused to get off, but a handful of curious ones, including Daniel, stepped onto the platform. The doors closed. The train left, and silence fell. At first, Daniel was thrilled. He thought he'd stumbled into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. A forgotten station, hidden from the public, perfect for an article that could make his career. But within minutes, the thrill turned into dread. The air was heavy, too heavy, like the tunnel itself was exhaling. The light bulbs buzzed, but their glow was unnatural, casting long shadows that seemed to move even when no one did. A handful of passengers spread out. Some took photos with their phones. A young college student laughed nervously. This is crazy. I'm going to get like 1 million views if I post this. Daniel noticed something strange. The CCTV cameras. They weren't old. They weren't covered in dust. They were modern, blinking red lights. Someone, or something, was watching. Then, one by one, phones began to die. First the students, then the woman's, then Daniel's. All at once their batteries dropped to zero. Panic stirred. Let's just wait for the next train, someone said. They waited. Minutes turned into an hour. No train came. The tunnel was silent. Too silent. And then, people began disappearing. A middle-aged woman who had spoken earlier. She was leaning against a pillar. Daniel blinked and she was gone. Not walked away. Not screamed. Just gone. Like the shadows had swallowed her whole. The others panicked, shouting, running across the platform, banging on the walls. Daniel's breath quickened. His journalist instinct told him, this is bigger than a story. This is survival. A sound echoed through the tunnel. The screech of wheels. The rattle of metal. Everyone froze. From the darkness of the tunnel, a train approached. But it wasn't like any train Daniel had seen before. Its body was rusted, windows cracked. Its headlights flickered like dying candles. And yet, it moved smoothly, silently, as if gliding. The doors opened. Inside were passengers, but they weren't alive. Their faces were pale, drained of color, eyes black and empty. They sat motionless, like mannequins. Some had dried bloodstains on their clothes. Others had missing limbs, yet they did not bleed. The passengers on the platform screamed. One of them, the college student, bolted onto the train, perhaps hoping it would take him home. The doors shut. The train pulled away, and as it vanished into the tunnel, Daniel saw the student inside, sitting motionless now, his eyes black, joining the others. He had become one of them. Daniel and 2 others remained. They decided to explore deeper into the station, searching for an exit. That's when they found it. A wall covered in faded posters. One poster, barely readable, spoke of a tragedy. In 1904, during the subway's early days, an entire train went missing between stations. Dozens of passengers vanished without a trace. The incident was covered up to avoid panic. The station sealed shut. The legend whispered that the train still ran a ghost train, forever looping in the tunnels, collecting souls to fill its empty seats. Daniel's heart pounded. The legend wasn't just real. He was living it. The 2 others, who remained a young man and an elderly lady, couldn't take the pressure. The man ran screaming into the tunnels. Within minutes, the sound of his cries faded, replaced by the echo of the phantom train. The elderly woman simply sat down on the platform, whispering prayers, until her body slowly faded into the shadows, as if erased from existence. Now Daniel was alone. The silence pressed against his skull. Every breath felt borrowed. He tried to retrace his steps, to find where the train had left him. But the tunnel twisted unnaturally. The walls stretched longer. The air grew colder, and then he saw them. Figures in the dark, dozens of them. Pale, eyeless, reaching hands. Passengers from 1904, from decades later, from just minutes ago. All trapped, all staring at him. And they whispered in unison. One more seat left. Daniel doesn't remember how he got out. One moment he was surrounded. The next, he was stumbling onto a platform he recognized West 4th Street, the real one. It was daylight now. Commuters bustled around him, unaware. The trains came and went as normal. Daniel tried to tell people. No one believed him. But when he opened his camera roll later that night, he found something chilling. A single photo had survived. It wasn't one he took. It was of him, sitting inside the phantom train, his eyes black, his face pale, surrounded by the lost passengers. He dropped his phone in horror. The phone buzzed, and on the screen a message appeared, not from any app he had installed. Just 3 words in red letters. Next stop, you. So the next time you ride the subway in New York, and the train slows down in the middle of the tunnel, listen carefully to the announcement. If it says Old Station, do not get off, because the silent subway is real. And once you board its phantom train, there is no way back. Would you dare step off that train? Or would you stay seated, pretending not to notice the doors opening to the shadows, until we meet again in the next chilling tale? Keep your lights on, because shadows may be closer than you think. This is AJ signing off. Sweet dreams. If you can, don't forget subscribe. Stories that take you beyond into the darkness.